Hello everybody, welcome to the live stream. We're going to talk about interesting topics today. This is just in. Let's wait for the people to come in before we start. And if you're new to the channel, I'm Igor in Russia. I'm a foreigner traveling to Russia, filming Russian cities, locations, culture, events. Absolutely love this place. And if you like this, one of the designs of Igor's Russian shop, you can check the link in the description and get your own cool and good quality hoodies, t-shirts, etc. All right, so I was somebody told me, expat American actually sent me a message that there's a news circling in Russia, in Telegram mostly, and some news as well. I'm not sure where, but the news is that it goes as follows. Hold up, let me just, oh, I can't bring it up, or maybe I can. Just wait a second. I'm gonna read it from word. I don't want to lose the stream. So anyways, I remember it was quite a short news. The news goes that Finland and Russia are negotiating about opening the borders, and I think this is getting some rounds in Russia. And me knowing exactly what's the situation, I'm gonna comment on that and make my prediction. The one news was that that was the main headline, and the other headlines were that the reasons because of that is that Finland's border areas are feeling the economical influences of this border closure, and that is why that it is like the news is signaling that that's the main reason for Finnish starting to think about this opening the borders. And the same thing was in the other Telegram as well. I don't have any sources. All I have is some telegrams, plus I hear that it's been in the news also in Russia, in some like a proper news, so to speak. Unfortunately, guys, hold up, am I able to do this no? All right, unfortunately I have to be take a few steps back. If that would be the case, you guys know that I would be the happiest guy ever to make to celebrate this. But I have learned because of this situation not to be celebrating way too early. It just as is. I'm not gonna break it down for you in pieces why I think so politically, but then I'm gonna tell you how to travel to Russia, how it was traveling to Russia from Finland before this border closure, and how it was like after the closure, the current situation, and of course how do I see it in the future. But let me break it down to you. There is no news in Finland about this situation. No news at all. Nobody's writing about this topic. And let me know if you cannot hear me well. I will bring this camera closer. But there is no news about this border opening anywhere in Finland. And that is weird, because people are brainwashed nowadays to not wanting the border opening. First of all, Finnish people do not want the border open because the background situation is most people, unfortunately, are too scared to travel to Russia because they have been brainwashed over the decades and reading, fake news and stuff. And that's why my videos are good, because you see how it is in real life. But they don't know that. Most people don't know it. And so most people don't want it, or at least they think they don't want it. The one reason that somebody might want it non-politically is the border areas of the eastern Finland. And that place, they don't have a say in this thing, mainly in the mainstream media especially. So if there would be negotiations going down, the media would probably take some they would like to make reports already right now about it. If there's rumors in Russia, there's definitely rumors in Finland, but there is no news about this. So that gives me a hint that this might be possibly not true, at least yet. And the previous news that we heard from Finland, and yes, Russian border has been always been open. Notice, the only border that has been closed is actually just the Finnish border or or Polish border. Russian borders are still open. They're not just working because of the counterparts. So before this, they closed it. I think it's like exactly 1 year ago. 1 year ago, the border was closed, and then they reopened it for a day. And during the same day or after like 24 hours, they closed it down because reportedly there were some illegal immigrants coming from Russia. And now the narrative has been that they continued the border closure for like in periods, right? So recently, I think it was before the summer or during the summer, lately they said that it will be all closed indefinitely, which is pretty big jump, in worsening this situation. So it's definitely closed, quote, until we get guarantees from Russia. That's what they said. And Russia said this just like, are you crazy? And so that's the latest news, and nobody speaks about, nobody cares about it, except the tens of thousands of minority Russian Finnish people, or just Russian people who have the right for free movement, like me, for example. So that's the situation. So that's why that would be a great news. But since there is no news in Finland about this, makes me wonder that this might be actually not true. I hope I'm wrong. But and the second part, it's not the border opening. What does it mean? In the news they reported that the situation is hard for the region or border regions. True, it is. It's the main big income was tourism, and quite frankly, nobody travels there unless they're coming from Leningrad Oblast or Moscow. That's just the fact. Nobody needs to go to those nice little towns, but usually you go there just for a day shopping like they used to from Russia. Notice there's around 5 to 7 million people living in Leningrad, St. Petersburg alone. Leningrad Oblast included, that's like way more population than in whole of Finland. So that is a good economic power and income. But mostly it's one of those people who want to travel to Russia, get some stuff, and return home, or those who travel to Helsinki and on the way they go to Imatra or Lappeenranta, smaller cities. So anyways, if they open the border, they would not open it for Russian tourists. The same thing as everywhere else, because European borders are closed for tourists, and Finland also closed it for tourists. Only those who have like another destination as a tourist, another destination than Schengen area, meaning you have a flight ticket to somewhere else. So that's the only reason. So that would not bring any significant help to the border areas. Wanderer Tile says, I hope trade can resume and bring back life to the economy here. Yes, so I assume you're from Finland, or yes, I also think so, hope so. But I think it's not happening now. I hope I'm wrong, but based on these latest news, that's all I can say, guys, unfortunately. So if Christopher, Sweden is in. Hi, all interested, Igor, I'm listening. Thank you so much. I hope you can hear me well. I don't use the microphone yet. Let me know if I need to, then I will. Okay. Let me know, by the way, if you think I need a put a little microphone here. I can do it. So potential opening at the conditions from February 22 to September 22. I don't understand the question. September 22, what? I'm not sure what does it mean. So any case, so the reason also the proof in the news that it might be not wrong is the reason for Finland's will in negotiating the border opening, the economic situation. You know, hate for Russia is so big in Finland that they actually don't care about. I'm just like, how do I say? I'm exaggerating a bit, but they don't really care about the Eastern Finland in this situation. The safety, or you know, people in the woods who are waiting for so the ones, illegal immigrants, 1 year sitting in some bushes in the woods, allegedly they are more important not to open the border than any economic situation of the Eastern Finland, which is the most you know, undeveloped in whole of Finland. All right, so that would be awesome, by the way, if we could open the borders. That would be so great. And of course, not even speaking about how great would be return to quite normal times, or even the times when we had fast speed trains between Helsinki, St. Petersburg. 3.5 hours by train was amazing, guys. You had the border check on the move. That was so great time. You know, the tickets were cheap and fast, so that was great. You could take a 1-day trip to St. Petersburg or vice versa to Helsinki. That was great time. But now the trains have been used for, I don't know, some shitty routes throughout Finland. I don't know, routes that nobody cares about, but the trains have been taken out of the whole thing. So I don't think the trains are coming back ever. The trains were 50-50 collaboration between Finland and Russia, but I don't know about the legal things, who owns what and who needs what money back. So that was great time, but that, I guess we have to kind of forget about it. No, they're not destroyed. They're being, of course not. Are you crazy? Why would they destroy? They cost tens of millions of dollars and euros. They probably, not probably, they have been transferred somewhere else in Finland, by the way, because they were left on the Finnish side after the border closure. And I was on one of the last trains, and I think I did a video about it. Yes, I did. If you go back to 2022 April, I did a video with one of the latest Allegro trains, one of the last. Talladega night gaming. I wonder if improved relations is a result of election results. Well, if that would be the case, but like I made my case here, they won't. This is not real, at least not now, or at least not based on any proper sources. That's what I gotta tell you. And notice, if you, I think the background sound is a bit too loud. If you would know more about like this USA elections versus the European frame of mind, is that, you know, these smaller countries who are like crazy on the crazy hatred path against Russia right now, so they won't, you know, they will not change their policies because of possible Trump's policy change in the United States. So meaning they will not be any more friendly to Russia, even though if Trump would seemingly be more nice. That's what I'm gonna tell you. Музыка это background, музыка просто. It's a background music, guys, sorry. So Finland would not be starting quickly, especially quickly started negotiating about anything. They would be actually more interested about how do they look in front of the European European Union's eyes, so-called partners. So that's why they would not suddenly open the borders. They should, but they won't. That's what I believe, and I've been saying for a long time, and unfortunately I have been right. So yeah, Allegro trains were the great way, plus we had buses, and after when the Allegro trains stopped moving, the borders were still open until March. Yeah, till March 2023, we had buses going also. We had Lux Express, Ecolines, and Sobafto, and I made videos about all of these, bus rides, which is the cheapest, which is the fastest, etc. So 3.5 hours changed to like around 8-9 hours at best to St. Petersburg or back. And of course, when the border closed in March 2023, the only and the best option was going through Narva, or later on, as I learned, through Luhama and Pskov. And I made all these routes available on my channel, which one is the best way to travel, etc. And yes, please do comment and leave a comment, and also support the channel with a super chat if you want to highlight your question or a comment. All help it goes to my trips that I of course planning already to do. Next one into Russia. Let's see what happens. There is now a lot of positivity going around. Maybe something will happen. I will hope so, but I think I made my point based on based on facts. I have my Finnish Schengen visa until May 26, but I don't have money to go to Europe, given that as a Russian I can't go through Estonia. Yes, you can go Finland, Estonia, because tourist entrances are banned. That's what I said. If Finland would open the border, I doubt there is no political reason for them to let tourists in. They do not. One thing is, Finnish people want to be in line with Europe, so they would never do something that would be in benefit for them if it would make them look bad in front of some of the crazy nations. Not all, because not everybody is crazy in Europe, but they are not the border countries in that case. Yes, but if you can go to Turkey, you should go to Turkey. Why you want to go to Schengen? Turkey, Istanbul beats Europe 1 million to nothing easily in tourist point of view. But of course, right now we're not talking about this. We're talking about free movement. All right, so if you want to travel to Russia or from Russia, if you're a foreigner, non-Russian, the best way is to travel through Narva, and I made a lot of videos. There's tons of little details, and I help a lot of travelers across the world actually to travel through Narva to Russia and back, and I have special membership for that actually. But from Helsinki, because we're talking about Helsinki, Finland, and going to Russia, since that isn't possible, you have to go through ferry to Tallinn, from Tallinn to Narva and to Russia. That all takes about 16 hours. That's crazy, guys. And notice that from Tallinn to St. Petersburg, it's like 5-6 hour trip without stops by bus. Brussels, Belgorod, Moscow. Yes, sure, there's a lot of ways to go to Russia, which none of them is better than through Narva. but you can fly through Belgrade to Moscow, you can fly via Istanbul, you can fly via Dubai or Asian countries to Moscow or St. Petersburg. But yeah, you have to, depends on where you're coming from. Narva border is now really unpredictable. That's why the Finnish border opening would be helpful for everybody. First of all, for the people who are traveling. You know, most people who travel to Russia have relatives, family, husbands and wives, you know, own personal reasons. Then there's, of course, people like me who just want to go there, and that's my own business. And as a free person, I have the right to, except that they closed the freaking border. Hello, Edelwolf, nice to see you. We're talking about the possible Finnish border opening, which is, of course, not so easy topic. I heard people doing Western Europe, Kaliningrad, St. Petersburg. Yes, that is one way. Notice that going to Kaliningrad is also like at the border from Poland or Lithuania. It's like a 9-hour thing, approximately, maybe less, and maybe even more, depends on the day. But from Kaliningrad, you can easily then fly to St. Petersburg, and you can get on spot tickets, the cheapest ones for like 50-60 bucks, which is really nice. And of course, you should definitely visit Kaliningrad. And if you want to see my visit to Kaliningrad, you can always, hold up, here it is. You can link in the chat. You can see all my videos from all around Russia and elsewhere with interactive links to my videos. I've done 2,200 videos, I think more, 2,800, I don't know, a lot of videos. So I've seen it all and still want to see it even more. But if you want to see Kaliningrad, sure, then you can fly to St. Petersburg, Moscow from Kaliningrad. It's also possible. But if you want to go only to St. Petersburg without visiting Kaliningrad, I don't know is it worthy of the time. But like I said, Estonian Narva is the easiest one, but also most unpredictable currently, because Estonians want to spend the time and the effort to check everybody's bags. And that means the line that used to take 2 hours at worst on the Estonian side takes now around, you know, around 6 to 8 hours. And this is standing outside, whether it's rain, snow, cold or hot. I experienced super hot weather, like super hot weather, standing for 3.5 hours, which is normal time. Then of course you have the Russian side where you have to wait for you used to wait there for 3-4 hours, but because Estonians are now so slow, so the flow is slower to Russian side, so the Russians can make it through inspecting people in like 1 to 2 hours. So altogether, standing in line depends on situation. Sometimes in Narva, why is this so inhumane right now, is that there's no, if you come a little bit later in the evening, notice in the evening, the border is closing at 11 p.m. So that means there's very often situations where people are left out. People are left out, you know, for the night in Narva. So you find out a little bit before 11 that you won't be passing the border. That means you have to wait. And every morning, Narva border becomes its minimum 2-hour wait at 6 a.m. I think it was 7. I think it's 7 a.m. when it opens. So there's always line. So in case you're a fast one, you still have to wait in the morning another 2-3 hours, maybe 4. So the other way that I found good one is through Luhamaa by bus, but my experience was last time I traveled, well, from Helsinki to home, St. Petersburg, I traveled 24 hours. 20 freaking hours, 24 hours. But from Tallinn to St. Petersburg, it took me 16 or 17 hours. Imagine that. All right, time for some commentaries before we continue talking about the border situation. What you guys wrote, Tbilisi, Moscow. Sure, but Georgia is not the cheapest one to fly to. Not the most expensive either. We got, yes, there are direct flights now, I think, via Yerevan also. All right, guys, this is just in. Once again, this is just the Russian side of the news. Here it is. So it says, I don't think there's translations, but I can do it. It's easy for me. Let me just write the news for you. Hold up. Ura. It means hooray, basically. Ura.news. Does it work? Oh, oops. Hold up. And of course, I cannot see the link here. I have to search it here, guys. It's not the latest news, I guess. Yeah, I'm giving up. It's on this side, but let me translate it. Ura, ura. Edelwolf knows the Russian meaning of ura, but let's not celebrate too fast, right? It says in Russian, границу Финляндии и России хотят открыть в 2025 году из-за проблем в экономике. So like I said, I don't believe it. Hello, Black Cat, my friend. Hello, on the road traveling for work. How are we all? Hello, Igor. Nice to have you, Black Cat. Guys, it's nice to have a live stream, even though the content is a bit different, right? All right, drive safely, Black Cat. All right, the news says, and this is what I explained at the beginning of the video, I don't believe it. It says, the border of Finland and Russia wants to be opened in 2025, so not this year, because of problems with economics. Me referring to Eastern Finland. Like I said, nobody cares in Finland about Eastern aerial problems when it comes to the border. You can go watch back in the beginning of the video, first 20 minutes. I don't believe it. This is, or at least if they do want to reopen it, definitely not because of these reasons. I might be wrong, but I'm rarely am. But first of all, based on these sources, notice I need more sources to convince me more. Let's continue. Финляндия и Россия обсуждают возможность открытия границы между странами. Finland and Russia is our discussion about possibilities of opening borders between the countries. Это может произойти не раньше конца февраля 2025 года. They're not hurrying this up. It could be possible no faster than the end of February 2025. Среди причин называется ухудшение экономической ситуации в северной стране. One of the reasons is named the worsening situation at the of economical situation of the northern country. It's very aerial influence, so well, it's hard for me to believe that that's the reason, guys. But very nice of you. Hello, Igor, says Raymond Tube. The news continues. It's not a long one. Граница Финляндии с Россией может открыться не раньше конца февраля 2025 года. no faster than no earlier than February 25. Передает петербургское издание 47 News. So this was according to the St. Petersburg's news agency 47 News. Whoa. And this is now finally I can hear the source. The source is Finnish and Russian border control. Black Cat, oh man, I really feel for you, my brother. During the conversation, Finns reported or announced Finns have said, I don't know who are they referring to. Finns in general said that the Finnish border control has turned into an element of political battles. They would never say that in public. Finnish people are too scared to say these things out loud. So usually it's all like nice and needy and calm. They would not say that. And I haven't heard about this, so it's not true. It is true, but in a way, in a big way, but not in a public discussion. Хотя изначально Хельсинки ссылались на угрозу миграционного кризиса, even though Helsinki meaning the government was talking about migrational crisis in the November of 2023 when they started to started to halt the border movement. All right, one more paragraph, couple more paragraphs or more. No, just couple. It says, according to 47 News, Finnish, in Finland, the economics are worsening. It's not actually. Locally, yes. And if it was worsening, they wouldn't speak about it. So yeah. Black Cat asks, any trolls? I haven't seen. I think they all mostly have died or they are asleep in cells. All right, continue. Поскольку после закрытия границ упал поток туристов. And the reason for the worsening situation is because after the border closure, the tourist amounts have dropped severely. And it was given the stimulus to the country. And the Finns and the Finnish went to Russia for gas. And also there are, according to this news, there was only humanitarian problems. A lot of families have no way to connect. And this is 100% true. Tens of thousands of people travel. There's 70,000 of minority group in Finland, Russian Finnish people like me. And many have relatives, family there, and there's no way to travel. Meaning, somebody would say that you can go through Narva. Well, that's not easy, especially if you're not in good condition, if you're elderly person, etc. I've seen some guys. You should be ashamed if you would see the stuff that I see at the border. You know, some grannies. So there is things to be looked at the mirror. Aimo says, Yle just covered the story, which is like national government news, sort of covered the story about the economic situation in Imatra due to border closure. And yes, like I said, it's locally, it's fact, it is true. And this has been said for as long as there's been this crisis. So it is true, but notice, I don't think that local influence would influence governmental decisions on this scale. I don't think so. And I don't think anybody thinks so. It should matter, but it doesn't, I think. Until it does, of course. And exactly, the tourist reason is not valid because Finland, despite opening the borders, they would not start granting the tourist visas or let tourists in. Those who have visas, I think they've expired, most of them. So yeah, Black Cat, love you. We love you back, sir. Right, lately the question about border opening has gone back into discussion. It hasn't. That's the problem. Like I said, they just notified when they made the law that actually is a safety precaution for possible migration crisis, which never happened. Again, well, the border is closed, so they can't even say it did happen or would have happened or not. But anyways, even though they made the law, they just said, well, we're not gonna open the borders until blah blah blah. It's the game, guys. It's just a freaking game. Is that a new hoodie or a lol, Igor? No, this is the new hoodie, guys. And it has in the back also and also Igor in Russia at the lower back. This is my favorite. You can check out Igor's Russian store, link in the description. And also some new stuff coming up. Christopher says, I follow international economic news closely. Energy costs are killing the EU area's economy. It's really bad now, getting worse. Yes, possibly. In some countries worse than others, for sure. Remember, guys, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I'm Igor in Russia, foreigner traveling to Russia from EU and filming the amazing Russia, St. Petersburg and elsewhere. And remember, guys, you can also support, leave a comment and support with the super chat, or just use Buy Me a Coffee. Link in the description. All right. That was the news, and that was on ura.ru. I'm gonna tell who. Somebody sent it to me. But I have break it down a little bit why I don't believe it's true, at least on the same level. I haven't heard that has been discussions about opening the borders in Finland. In Russia, this is possible, but I don't know the sources. They might talk about the worsening situation locally in Finland, but that's nothing new. Push like as well, by the way. Let's get this party going. So currently the best option to travel to Russia if the Finnish border doesn't open, it's through Narva or through Estonia. Narva or Estonia, Luhamaa, a little bit southern, and that's an overnight. The other one is not overnight, and the other one is by bus, and the other one is by bus, then by walking, and then by bus. So if the Finnish border would open, what would happen? What would actually happen and how that would change? First of all, there are no buses waiting to be activated just like this. And before this border closure, there was three different bus companies that traveled. There was all of them. Two of them are Estonian / Latvian, and one is Russian. And I've used them all, and I have made videos about them. It is Lux Express. They are all like fine quality, at least the first two, and the other one is a bit lower, but it's just fine. 8 out of 10. So Lux Express, and then there's Ecolines. The tickets used to be from Finland. It was pretty crazy in sometimes, but the price was almost $100, 100 euros. And cheapest it was, I think it was 47 euros. I don't know why, because Tallinn is 45, 47 euros. And then there was Sovavto, which is the cheapest one. It was, I think it was 40. It's been a year, guys, so I can't remember. It will be back maybe. Where are you going, my man? So basically these three companies are the only options, and if the border would open, if everything would go back to normal, the difference with Estonian border is that you could actually take your private car to Russia and from Russia, because on Estonian border only the Luhamaa does this. I think maybe another one as well. So yes, and that basically, I've heard that people have waited for 1 day or maybe 2 days not moving from the border, not being let through Estonian side. So it's like, it's really random, it's crazy. So in Finland you go in a line and they let you in, and that's it, unless they change it. This is the only option. So no border crossing as a pedestrian, unlike Estonia, but vehicular transitions would be very possible. And that's the great thing. Buses and private cars. And that means you can travel by buses, or you can travel with somebody, you as a passenger. Note, technically, and sometimes they do try to check you. You're not allowed to pay for your travel to somebody that you don't know, basically, or even do know. Meaning, you have to have a taxi license to charge somebody for being a passenger. Yes, Finland loves crazy laws and try to somehow uphold it. So technically, you're not allowed to, travel and pay for your trip. That was last year. Yes, and that's the only reference we have, because last time the border was open in Finland was November, was it? It was early November, a year ago when it closed. I think like a year ago, right? Maybe actually October, sorry. So that's how would it change. So, and also the influence, I don't know what's the percentage, but a noticeable percentage would be also moved from this unnecessary trip to Narva from Finland and going to Russia and back. They will be reversed to Finland, meaning it would be less people waiting in line in Estonia. So this would be take off the pressure, because clearly at any given moment, if you check out the border, for example, Narva cameras, you will see that there's a line all the way until, most of the times, a line until the Narva, city text, or what you call it, logo or whatever, letters. And that means it's like 4 to 6 hours waiting time, 4 at minimum, at the current Estonian rate speed, meaning they have to check everybody, they want to. All right, guys, this is the news, and let's give out some space for you guys to join the chat. Let's see what we have here. Remember, push like. You can also use super chat to support your local YouTube's favorite Igor and all you fun people in the internet. Good night and have a great. Let's hope the border will open soon. Let's pray for it.